back to Motor City Sports. I'm your host, Griffin, and with me are my co-hosts, Drew, and my other co-host, Mark.
What's up, guys?
The Lions have done it. For the first time ever, they have clinched the number 1 seed in the NFC. Can we just all take a second to let that all sink in?
The road here was not perfect, but they worked through it. Using incredible skill and tactics, we did it. There were some nail biters and some hard ones. The injuries were tough, but at least we did it.
Yep, we're here and we're along for the ride still. Let's get to it.
Okay, now, let's break it all down. We've got 3 big topics today. First, how they clinched the number 1 seed. Second, the injuries they fought through to get here. And lastly, just our predictions for the playoffs.
So, the Lions clinched the number 1 seed after beating the Minnesota Vikings, one of the best teams in the NFL. I loved that game. I was watching it from the starting coin toss to the very end. Some incredible touchdowns, some incredible defense. Loved the game. Griffin, what stood out to you?
Me, all about the defense in that game. Al-Quadin Muhammad, heard of him? No, probably not.
I hadn't.
He is a newer addition to the team. We brought him over from the Indianapolis Colts this season. So, not just him, but I think the lockdown secondary really stood out too. Ben Johnson play calling on the offense, Aaron Glenn on the defense, and just Dan Campbell overall carried us in that game. And also, hopefully, Hutchinson comes back, because if he was in that game, he would have had way more sacks.
Blowout. That
Yeah.
would have been a lovely game to see.
Hold on, guys. But you got to give it to Goff. People doubted him early on. But this dude is playing like a 5-star QB. Clutch throws to St. Brown and Laporta. Chef's kiss. Mwah.
It wasn't just that game, though. It was the whole season. They dominated the opponent. They went toe-to-toe with teams like Eagles and in the standings. And the 49ers, they won that game and just kept stacking up those wins.
Let's not forget about Campbell's coaching. If I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. The trick plays he comes up with are incredible. And he's got these guys believing that they can't be beaten. And when you believe you can't be beaten, you probably can't.
Yeah, but they're not all perfect. There are some bad parts that we sadly have to cover.
Mm-hmm.
They had a couple of stinkers early in the season, like the Ravens game. That was a real ugly game.
Even though that was last season, Drew, we still know what you're talking about.
I think, honestly, this team has grown over all those hard losses last season and the Cowboys game last season. Just forget about that one.
Yeah, that was not pretty.
Yeah, they definitely learned from those losses. That is definitely what a championship team does. Drew? Or no, Mark, you go.
So, let's talk about some of the injuries. One of my biggest losses had to be C.J. Gardner. At the beginning of the season, it was a ginormous blow. We lost him to the Eagles, but they literally picked him up. It was not a great day for the Lions, but we fought through it. Griffin, what do you think? Who were your worst losses?
I also think that was sad how the Eagles signed C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He would have been a great one to still have.
Yeah.
But for me, David Montgomery, when he went down, we were all wondering if Gibbs could carry the load. Spoiler alert, he definitely could. And Jamison Williams' missing time didn't help. But man, when he came back, he was electric. Even though he missed a bit when he came back, he carried the load.
I agree with you, Drew. I agree with you, Griffin. But I gotta give it to the depth from guys like Brian Branch and Craig Reynolds. They stepped up big when it mattered.
Yeah, but can you guys believe we finished 15-2 this season? With those setbacks, must be a testament to the next man up mentality.
And that gives me confidence heading into the playoffs. Speaking of which...
Alright guys, it's prediction time. Personally, one of my favorite parts of the episodes. So, Griffin, what are your predictions for this season?
Super Bowl, baby. This team was built for it. With the grit, toughness, and maybe Aiden Hutchinson and Montgomery, I'm calling it. Lions beat the Eagles in the NFC Championship, and then take down Chiefs or the Bills, the Super Bowl.
Ooh, that's pretty bold. I would love nothing more than the Lions to make it to the Super Bowl and even win. But I think I gotta go with the semis. I really don't like to say it, but we have had so many injuries pile up this season. It's getting tough. I think, though, next season, when we get some of our players back, Hutchinson's going to be back, and so many more, we can do it. But I'm going to stand with the Lions all the way, no matter what.
I think you're crazy, Mark. This team has the talent, and they have the coaching. But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Andrew.
Yeah, Drew.
Those were both really good. But
Predictions.
I still am going Super Bowl with this one, Mark. You can't change my opinion.
I would love nothing more.
They're gonna beat the Eagles in the NFC Championship, for sure. But now, guys, time for a sponsor.
Hey there, listeners. Are you ready to get involved and make a difference and support BCS? Let's give a big shout out to the Birmingham Covington School PTA, a team of hardworking parents and teachers right here to back you up every day. We're lucky to have parents and teachers stepping up to lead and support everything that makes BCS a great place to learn. From organizing events to funding projects, just like this podcast, the PTA is here to make our school community stronger. Pause. Okay. And here is one of our Birmingham students.
I love podcasting. Thanks to the PTA, we can get mics like the ones we were using before and these awesome cameras to record our podcast.
And those microphones the PTA got you, what do you think about those?
Those? I really love the snowball mics. They record really well, but I honestly like the cameras more.
Yeah, the cameras are really cool. Well, thanks for stopping by.